That's how you know that he is deeply unserious. I will never engage in this kind of rhetoric because what does that mean?
This Palestinian woman has a message for people who are trying to defend the reason why they want to vote for Kamala Harris. Election is close, conversations are so hot. Another creator, a guy, stitched to this lady's video and he talked about the fact that Palestinians are not the only one, going through genocide. There's a lot going on in Sudan, there's a lot going on in Congo. She responded and said that it is not a genocide Olympics. This sparked a lot of conversation because there are so many black people who are pissed at this lady, and there are some black people as well who are not buying what the other guy has to say, that he shouldn't be using Congo as well to defend the reason why he wants to vote for someone else. Points that so many black people are making, which you guys are going to be seeing from the stitches as well, is that these people want us to pick or choose them over us. They want us to put Palestinian first before them, and this is something they are never going to do. There was a comment I saw of someone saying that he had asked her that, okay, who should we vote for at this point? And she said, vote for third party. People are saying whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Kamala Harris, it's almost the same. They shouldn't be thinking that voting for Donald Trump make things better for Palestinians or for people in Congo. I have put together these conversations, so without wasting much time, let's get right into it.
Keep Palestinians' names out of your fucking mouth when you're trying to defend your decision for voting for Kamala. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to try to persuade you one way or another. I know what I'm gonna be doing come November, but my fucking God. Just sit with your cognitive dissonance. Don't try to shove it onto the rest of us, all right? Palestine has nothing to do with it, because if you cared about Palestinians, you would not be sitting here saying that you were going to vote blue no matter who. No, you'd be putting these politicians' feet to the flames. You'd be demanding more. You wouldn't be saying, oh, I'm going to vote and then maybe I'm going to try to organize. You who have never organized a day in your fucking life. Just zip it, all right? Zip it. Us Palestinians, sick of hearing your shit. Keep Palestinians' names out of your mouth when you're trying to defend your decision for voting for Kamala.
I'm starting to see a lot of these videos coming out, and I feel like someone really has to speak on it, so I'm going to. And I'm going to tell this with all my due respect. Palestine is not the only country that's dealing with genocide right now. I am from Congo, in case you cannot tell. I'm from Congo, okay? We are also dealing with genocide in Congo. In fact, the genocide in Congo has been going for way longer than the genocide in Palestine. The genocide in Congo has made 8 million of victims. 8 millions. And you might wonder, why am I making this video? Well, I am making this video because I'm going to support Vice President Kamala. 100% I'm going to. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to support Vice President Kamala. Listen to me. This is one of the Congolese genocide enabler. His name is Dan Gettler. This guy is an Israeli billionaire who owns mines in Congo. This guy was sanctioned in 2017 by President Barack Obama for corrupt and illegal mining. Listen very carefully. He was sanctioned by Obama. Obama is a Democrat. Okay? This dude got reinstated. Someone gave him his money back. Someone gave him his money back. Do you know who did that? Donald Trump. Donald Trump gave him his money back. It was one of the very last things he did as a president, was to give this guy his money back. And do you know who sanctioned this guy again? President Biden. President Biden sanctioned him again. So currently, this person does not have his money. All the illegal money he made in Congo, he does not have it right now because of President Biden. So one thing I know for sure, Vice President Kamala, she's not going to let this guy get his money back. And another thing that I know for sure is that if Trump gets back in office, Trump is going to reinstate this guy. Trump is going to give him his money back. How do you think Israel is getting all that money? Because of this guy. He's one of the people who are giving money to Israel. So if you want to stop this guy from getting his money back and potentially giving that money to Israel, make sure that Trump does not make it. Now let's be real for a second, because I feel like a lot of people don't take this part in consideration. Listen, a lot of people have lost their jobs for supporting Palestine. A lot of content creators got their account banned for supporting Palestine. A lot of people got hurt physically for protesting for Palestine. A lot of people have ruined their relations with their families and friends simply because they were on the side of Palestine. So if you're going to tell all these people who have sacrificed so much for your cause that they are wrong for choosing a candidate who's going to preserve their rights in their own country, then I'm sorry to tell you this, but you are being both ungrateful and disingenuous.
That one man who weaponized the Congolese genocide to silence that Palestinian woman to explain why he's voting for Kamala Harris is the nastiest form of cognitive dissonance I think I've ever seen. Because what has Kamala said about the Congo? What's her plan or platform for those people? Absolutely nothing. To continue to let it bleed. To cherry pick one Israeli to make the boogeyman, like Israelis are not directly funding Kamala Harris's campaign, is just willful ignorance. Because you can't actually think she's going to stop Israelis from exploiting African people. Here goes an article that was published this year that states that the Congolese government, as well as the Biden administration, you know, the administration Kamala is currently part of, is looking to reduce those sanctions against that boogeyman. And I know y'all don't like to read, so I'll summarize it. They're not stopping the bleeding. They are simply going to liberalize the exploitation until people can no longer call it slave labor. Telling a Palestinian woman she's ungrateful for calling out your performative activism and hypocrisy is crazy. Using your own people's suffering to do so is even crazier. If y'all are going to vote like your parents, be silent like them too. You go into that booth alone. It's a private matter. Get offline coping and weaponizing your identity.
It seems like Black voters are making it very clear you're not going to bully them into changing their minds. So this creator has been getting a lot of stitches lately because she had posted a stitch in regards to an individual who said that they were voting for Kamala Harris. Now that creator happened to be from Congo, and in his stitch, he basically goes down the line as to why voting for Donald Trump would be the worst idea. Now once her video and stitches made their way to the internet, honey, content creators across the globe have chimed in on why it's a bad idea to bully people into changing their votes. Now shout out to Cleo over on X because she said the far left are getting eaten up by Black voices. I'm loving every second of it, calling them out for what they are, self-righteous, performative, narcissists. Black people have been fighting for all people since the beginning of this country. Cleo goes on to say, where were all these pro-Palestine activists when the conflicts in Congo, Haiti, and Sudan have been going on far longer than the Israeli-Palestine conflict? Which is a good question, but we're not here to play the oppression Olympics. Other individuals chimed in and said, the lack of leadership in the pro-Palestine movement is clear. It is very clear. The anti-Blackness, as well as their attack on Black people voting in their best interests, are prime examples of that. Wonderful Woman goes on to say, I will always support the freedom of Palestine, but I will not tolerate their disrespectful behavior. Somebody by the name of NFD said, those other conflicts are not directly prolonged by U.S. policy. Israel's the aggressor, and U.S. can stop it in seconds. There are a lot of Black leaders over the years speaking up for Palestine and talking about solidarity, i.e. Mandela or Nelson Mandela. You're clinically abusing Black history. Quite literally. Somebody else said, exactly, make it make sense. Throwing your vote away and trying to convince others to do so will only give more chances for Trump to get back in office. Khan goes on to say he will then put his Muslim ban back in place, and then there won't be a Palestinian discussion because they won't even be allowed in the U.S. anymore. That's Project 2025, in case y'all forgot. I think Cleo sums it up. She said the audacity to try to shame Black people, and they know their own struggles, been at it since the inception of the U.S., and will do what they need to do to make it better. You have to put your life vest on first before you can save anyone else. Which is absolutely true, because how do you expect Black Americans to save you if we're already drowning?
Keep Palestinians' names out of your fucking mouth when you're trying to defend your decision for voting for Kamala. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to try to persuade you one way or another. I know what I'm gonna be doing come November, but my fucking God. Just sit with your cognitive dissonance. Don't try to shove it onto the rest of us.
I was going to make this really long video responding to this because I think that there are a few things in her original video that are a little bit dangerous and very disingenuous. To sit online and to play the oppression Olympics as though there is not genocide happening everywhere, as though there is not a long, lengthy history of this country's government openly admitting to murdering our civil rights leaders, specifically the ones who really led the way for Black freedoms is really wild, because we can look at history and we can see whose country is being used as the blueprint, what country is being used as the blueprint to go oppress the rest of the world, right? We know which group was the control group, okay? We know which group started the, oh, hey, you know what? We did it so great here, and look how effective this was, that Nazi Germany followed suit. Israel is following suit right now. You could look around. There's many countries that follow suit, okay? Because anti-Blackness is global. And I don't want people to take this as me participating in the oppression Olympics either, but I want people to recognize the root of where we get started on these conversations, right? Because it's emotionally infuriating to watch your people be slaughtered and you feel helpless and there's nothing that you can do. And that's something that has been happening globally to a lot of people. So when we think about what can I do beyond lamenting online about the nasty ways at which this government functions, we have to dig a little bit deeper, right? Like, we have to dig past the point of the emotional frustration that comes there. And I'm not saying this to be patronizing at all, because I have spent a great deal of time being furious at the things that I saw, okay? Recognizing that this government is okay. Like, state-sanctioned murder is something that happens here all the time. We see it all the time. It's very clear and rich in our history that that's a practice of ours, right? So having to dig past the emotional frustration and anger that takes place, reasonably so, when you're watching all of these things and you're absorbing all of that energy, it takes so much power and it takes so much work. But it's important that we get there, because we should not have these lazy takes about what it is to vote, right? Because here it is, you want people to not vote for Kamala, but you didn't say what you're doing in November. Us being at war in this country, a civil war, there being that level of civil unrest, and it's not going to help anybody in Palestine. It's not. And to be like, oh, well, Cop City is happening and this is happening. That's been happening. That's been happening. All that, wait till it comes back over here. It's been here. It's been here. They have always used the United States as the control. And then they build the rest of their experiments from what happened here. So nothing that isn't already happening is going to take place. It's already happening. We're already living in it, right? That's why you have so many Black, queer, and other marginalized community members coming out and saying, no. Hey, guys, whoa, we are already on the fast track. And I think we should take the local train instead of taking the express. Because at least if you take the local train, guess what? You have time to organize the thing that you think can't be done after someone's been voted for. And I understand that process, right? Because I do believe that people need to figure out what it is that they want candidates to do. But it might help you to come up with a plan of what you think Kamala should be addressing when it comes to the Israeli acts of genocide against Palestinians. Instead of lamenting online, you are instead just being upset that there are people who want to vote for her in November, because it's unbelievable to you that they would vote for people who support genocide. But we have to be clear that every single leader of the American government is going to do so. Even if they get up there and tell you they are not, at a certain point, they're going to fall in line with the rest of them. And that's a much bigger task to tackle than to say, oh, don't go vote for Kamala. Okay, if you're not going to go vote for her, What are you doing in November that's going to help the Palestinian people? What are you doing in November that's going to change the course of what they are currently facing right now? It doesn't have to be vote for her if you don't believe that that's going to change the course of what's happening right now. But what are you going to do, right? Share that so that you can create the groundswell and maybe get people on board with what you're saying, because it seems it's lacking. It seems that it's lacking, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to do something different if you believe that that something different is going to truly help your people. We have to take risks to help our people, right? So you're taking the risk by saying, hey, I know what I'm going to be doing in November. And you're insinuating that what you're going to be doing in November is not voting for her, which is fine. That's your right. But what are you going to be doing in November that's going to then help your people? Because right now, when you look around, right, there are not many options that look like viable paths where you're going to be able to have a conversation with someone and have them hear you reason with them as to what your points might be. And I think that's where your cognitive dissonance is coming into play, because you want so desperately for the United States of America to be something that it's not. Pot calling the kettle black. What are you going to do? That's so different. What are you going to do that's going to galvanize the change that you're looking to see? Because from this perspective, it looks like you are not believing America to be who she is and approaching it from that space. And that's not going to get us anywhere. And that might feel like righteous and just to you because of what's happening to your people over in their land. But I'm going to tell you that's not going to help your people over in their land stop being oppressed and stop being under the horrible act of genocide.
What do you guys think about all of this conversation? What do you think about the lady who started the conversation? What do you think about what she said? Do you think she's being selfish? And what do you think about the other guy, the other Congolese guy as well, mentioning the things that have been going on in Congo and how there is this white guy who has been funding or who has been exploiting the people of Congo as well? Let me hear what you guys think. From the tweets, from the other stage as well, you guys can clearly see that people are talking about how Americans are going through it as well. And this is the reason why they are making some certain decisions that they are making. The conversation of election has been going on and it's so hot. People are really talking about it. There are so many questions in the comment section of those who are talking about it, saying, so who should we vote for? What do you guys think? People are literally rubbing minds and having this conversation because it's a very serious one. It's almost like a life and death situation, especially if you have read through the Project 2025. So saying that kind of seems disrespectful to so many Black people, and they are saying they are not going to pick other people first. They have to pick themselves first, because how do you save others when you are drowning? Person said, Donald Trump and Kamala are the same creators. They work for the same boss. There is no policy that will change for Congo or Palestine under these two people. There are so many people saying this particular line as well, saying nothing is going to change. They are almost the same thing. Another one said the tactic here was because they know they can't defend Kamala on the Palestine issue. They turned to Operation Olympics and brought up Congo and Sudan, both issues which Kamala does not care about either. This person said she had the nerves to say that women of color, she has a name. If Palestinians were Africans, they would not have received any attention like Congo, Haiti, and many other places. I want to kind of agree with this particular one. As Palestinians happens to be in Africa, do you think people are going to be talking about it like this? Do you think it's going to be getting the attention that it has been getting? Another one said, I asked her what should we do. She said, vote third party. It is August and I haven't seen one campaign speech from them. Be fucking for real. Glad you all are finally seeing these Palestine supporters for what they really are. They want Black labor, activism, and voices, but it benefits them. Any other time, they are being anti-Black as hell. This one said, the truth is, instead of being grateful for the countless of history Black people have done for the rights of others, the non-Black people feel entitled to our activism as community and think we should be willing to protest at the expense of our own community. The countless and continuous fight for others, I mean to her. This fighting between Black people and Palestinian people is exactly what all of our white supremacist oppressors want. They want us to fight each other and not them, and I am not going to participate in it. Why is this actually looking through? Because the moment that Joe Biden stepped out of the presidential race and Kamala Harris was endorsed, the conversation of Palestine and this election is just like hand in hand, and people have been back and forth and dragging each other over it. Maybe this is actually the agenda. Who knows? Because it kind of sounds very true. Let me hear what you guys think about what all of these people are saying. Let me hear your take on this conversation. It is really not a genocide Olympics. I cannot agree with that. It's not an Olympics, and this is the reason why everyone needs to be sensitive and understand where, each parties are coming from. People in the US as well are scared of some certain things regarding this election. They have to put themselves first. I cannot understand where these two parties are coming from, but I would like to hear what you guys think about this whole conversation, because it literally moved from TikTok straight to Twitter and people are just dissecting it. Let me hear your take in the comment section. I will see you guys in the next one.